Rejected, rejected, you just got rejected. What movie is that from? Can somebody please comment down below and let me know? Thanks. Hey, what's up? Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lauren and I am so excited that you came across this video today. As always, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button down below. It will truly mean the world to me. And so I'm guessing that you are watching this video today because you have been rejected at some point in your life. If you've never been rejected, I can not even imagine what it's like to be you, but good for you. Anyway, when I say rejection, I'm talking about virtually any type of rejection. Rejection in your social life, your relationships, your job, your education. I mean, this morning I got rejected from my pet, which that one hurt, but the list goes on, and it really means anything. Rejection can be from anything. Rejection is not this concrete term that can be defined in one way. It's more of a personal definition that I've found, that people experience rejections in many different points in their life, and it can mean different things to different people. But before I go any further, I do want to make this disclaimer. If any of you have seen my past videos, you know that I am starting graduate school to be a mental health counselor, but as of right now, I am not a licensed mental health counselor, nor am I an expert on this subject. The tips that I'll be giving you today come from personal experience, educational experience, and just research in general. And so the goal of this video is to provide you with tips and ways to be able to handle rejection in a realistic and healthy manner. So I do want to talk about what prompted me to make this video just really quickly. Over the last couple of months, I have dealt with a lot of rejection, specifically in terms of where I applied to graduate school. I unfortunately did not get into a lot of the schools that I applied to. Luckily, I got into a couple, so I'm good there, but it was really, really tough to deal with, and it was hard to deal with because I had a great GPA, I had great recommenders, I felt like my application was really strong, but there were just certain things that I didn't have that ultimately led me to get denied rather than accepted. And so it was really hard to deal with it at first. It was really hard to understand, and it wasn't until I went through the process of learning why I was rejected and understanding that I really was able to move on from it and move past it. And I'm so happy now with where I will be going in the fall, but it just sort of got me thinking about everybody else goes through rejection, and I didn't know personally how to deal with it until I started to look up things. And so maybe there's some of you who don't know how to deal with it, and they just need a short video to talk them through it. Like I said, I'm not an expert, and I don't claim to be, but I'm a person, and I just wanted to make this video to hopefully help just one person who's going through rejection or the feelings of rejection get through it in a healthy but also a very realistic manner. And so that's just a little bit about why I decided to create this video, because it comes from personal experience, and I do understand it and I do get it, and it's a really horrible feeling, but I promise that you will be able to get through it, whatever you're dealing with. So today I have 5 ways for you to deal with rejection in a healthy and realistic manner, and I can promise you that none of these tips will say just to get over it. I can't even tell you, that is one of my biggest pet peeves, when somebody just says, get over it. It's really not that simple. We all know it's not that simple, and it's one of those things, it's kind of like a slap in the face. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think of that. I will definitely do that. It's not that easy, and it's not really beneficial when somebody tells you that. And so none of these tips that I have today will say that at all, or even come close to that. But let's just get right into it before I start ranting anymore. So as an FYI, I do have some notes with me just to keep me on track. So if you see me looking down, that is what I'm looking at. And so let's just get right into it. The first tip I have for you guys is to just allow yourself to feel the emotions. There's a boatload of emotions that come with rejection. You may feel sad, angry, confused, embarrassed. I mean, it's different for everybody what they feel and how they express it. Whatever emotion or emotions you are feeling, they should be acknowledged. You shouldn't try and suppress them, deny them, push them down. You should be able to speak about them openly and feel them openly. And I'm sure at some point in your life somebody's told you not to bottle up your emotions, that it's not a good idea. And that applies directly to this tip. Allow yourself to feel what you are feeling. And so I know many of you may be saying, but I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel confused or embarrassed. I'm just going to not think about it and it will eventually pass. And that might be true. That might work for some people, but for many it doesn't. And for those people that it works for, eventually over the years, it will stop working for them. So I understand that most people don't want to feel these emotions, and I just need you to know that they don't last forever. Allow yourself to be uncomfortable. Allow yourself to feel these quote-unquote negative emotions, but you'll be able to fully cope with the feeling of rejection by allowing yourself to feel these emotions. And so I saw this quote online that I thought was very fitting. It says, "Whenever you are paying attention to your emotions, remember that it's never helpful to feel like you shouldn't feel a certain way. Your emotions are never right or wrong. They just are." That's by Becker Phelps. And so I thought that that quote really connected with this tip, that you just need to let yourself feel the emotions for a little bit of time before you can move on. The second tip I have for you guys is to keep things in perspective. So, you got rejected. It's not the end of the world. Or, like my mom likes to say, it's not going to take away your birthday. Nobody's going to take away your birthday. I mean, I never actually understood who they were, but it made sense. Rejection may deny you something in life, but it's never going to take something away from you. And so try to find a way to keep things in perspective. And so throughout this video, I'll be referencing the example of getting rejected from your dream school. So let's say you get rejected from your dream school. I understand that that's very difficult, very hard. It's not the news that you were expecting, but it happened. So to put things in perspective, you can say something like, well, there's other schools that I could attend. Other schools I applied to, other schools I got into, or that I'm waiting on. Or you can say, you know what, this is where I want to go. I'm going to wait and I'm going to apply for next year. There's always another option. Sometimes you just have to find it. And so it's not always easy to keep things in perspective, and maybe you need to allow yourself to feel the emotions, like I said in tip number 1, before you can really put things into perspective. The third tip I have for you guys is to practice self-love. And so I was going to label this section to practice self-care, but I decided to go with self-love because I found it to be a bit more fitting. And so self-care is defined as individual practice of health management without the aid of a medical professional. Self-love is defined as love to self or regard for one's own happiness. So the reason I chose self-love is because in essence, this tip wants you to do what makes you feel good. It may be watching your favorite movie, going out for ice cream, reading a book, exercising, taking a bubble bath. I don't know, whatever makes you feel good, but do something that makes you feel happy after getting rejected. I'm not saying do it for months after. I mean, you can always practice self-love and do whatever you'd like, but in the moment, when you're feeling those emotions, those negative emotions, try to do something that makes you feel happy. Kind of get your mind away from those emotions just for a minute. And so I don't want you to get this confused with suppressing your emotions. I'm not saying to suppress your emotions, deny them, ignore them. Doing something that makes you happy and allowing yourself to feel these negative emotions are two separate processes. And I just want you to remember that you can feel these negative emotions and allow yourself to have that time with these emotions while also doing something that makes you happy. Even if it's something just as simple as relaxing for 5 minutes or going out for ice cream, like I said, do something that makes you happy. The fourth way to deal with rejection is to learn from the experience. And so I like to think that everything in life is a learning experience. And there are a couple different things you can do to learn from this experience. The first would be, let's go back to that example of the dream college. You're getting rejected from your dream school. First thing you may want to do is contact an admissions counselor and talk about why your application was rejected. Maybe your GPA wasn't high enough, you didn't have that strong of a recommendation letter, whatever it may be, you will never know until you ask. And that's how you sort of tie it back to learning from the experience. You learn maybe what your mistakes were or something that led to the rejection, and you can learn to either fix those mistakes, understand those mistakes, not even mistakes, they could just be things in life that led to this event that maybe you don't want to change, but it's good to know why something happened. You could also learn just how important this thing, whatever you were rejected from, is to you. Maybe you get rejected from the job you're applying for and you find out that when you get rejected, you feel okay, and maybe it's not as important as you thought it was or as everybody hyped it up to be. Maybe this to you was just something that you had to go through. You had a job you had to apply for, get rejected, and you can move on quickly and easily. It's not something that is gonna bring up all these emotions and feelings because it wasn't as important to you, and that's something you can learn from rejection. And then if you truly feel like you've learned nothing, just know that you've learned how to deal with rejection. You've learned about the process. You've learned about how to feel your emotions and let yourself go through the steps. I mean, I hate to break it to you, but you're going to get rejected again. It's most likely going to happen in life, and so now you'll be better equipped in the future to handle that rejection. And so the fifth way to handle rejection in a realistic and healthy manner is to not let it stop you. So you got rejected. What does that mean? You're going to just stop whatever you're pursuing? No, I mean, you're going to go after what you want, but I should probably make it clear that if you were rejected by a person, let's say your crush, I'm not recommending that you bombard them with text and calls and go to their house and tell them that you're never going to stop pursuing them. Let's not be like a stalker or a creep or anything, but use what you were rejected to motivate you in the future. And so again, crush, let's leave that one alone, but for everything else, go for it. Don't stop. So let's go back to this dream school example. If you want to go to that school, if that is truly your dream school, then go for it. So you got rejected. Reapply. Reapply again if you get rejected again. Apply until you get in, or apply until they stop you from applying. And so do whatever it is you can to make yourself satisfied with the effort you put forth in going to your dream school. And so I highly recommend that you look up and you research some highly successful people who have been rejected. So just to name a few, there's Oprah Winfrey. Apparently she got fired because she couldn't separate her emotions from her stories. And I mean, look at her now. You have Lady Gaga. She was dropped from her record label after only 3 months. You have Walt Disney was fired because his editor said he lacked imagination. I mean, could you imagine? He lacked imagination. Lucille Ball was considered a failed actress before her role in I Love Lucy, an iconic TV show. And then you have somebody like Marilyn Monroe, who started her modeling career, and then she was told that she should probably just become a secretary. I mean, imagine if she listened to that. Like, we wouldn't have so many of the amazing and iconic pictures that she put forth today. And so these all go to show that rejection is just what you make of it, and that it's not the end of the world. It's not going to take away your birthday. You just need to handle it in a healthy and realistic manner, because it's going to happen to you and it's going to happen again. And learning how to deal with rejection in a healthy way will only make the experience 10 times better for you. Okay, so to go through all 5 tips again, the first is to allow yourself to feel the emotions. The second is to keep things in perspective. The third is to practice self-love. The fourth is to learn from the experience. And the fifth is to not let the experience of rejection ever stop you. All right, that is it for the 5 ways to deal with rejection in a healthy and a realistic manner. One last thing before you go: if you like this video, if you want to keep up with my other videos, things that I post, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below. It would truly, truly mean the world to me. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday about college, lifestyle, and mental health. And so thank you in advance, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye for now.